Let's roll this beautiful bean footage, shall we? I don't know these people. I'm not here full of hate. But I tuned into some of the lives this morning. I left no comments. They've got little shingles above what looks like a flat screen TV fire. Answered prayers and black and white couple, and she's sitting there in some language going, I'm like, what in the world? Then I go to another channel, and you've got the Satanic Hour, shuffling tarot cards. Looks a little bit like Morticia from Day with Your Soul. Huh, that's about accurate. And then I was watching a few newsworthy items. DeKalb County, which is Atlanta's, looking at shutting down 27 schools. They ought to shut them all down. Kids have been poisoned for decades with godless evolution and crap. They're not learning how to do things. They don't know how to change a tire. They don't know how to mow the lawn. They don't know how to do anything. What is the purpose of the public school? Then my friend messages me. She's off. They get so many breaks every month. And I remember when I worked for the schools, we only work as bus drivers, teachers, 180 days. And they complain they're not getting enough. Now, I like my friend. She's a teacher of severe and profound special needs students. That's a whole different field. Chances of you actually educating kids on that level is slim to none. And God bless the parents that have kids that are special needs, because that is a 100% 24/7 full-time job. There's no easing up on that. No easing up on that at all. And my friend Tina does well. But most of the school teachers today complain about their salary. You get 180 days of actual work. Since I've started this job, I get only the major holidays off with pay. And it's not near as many as the school system gets. I think we get Christmas, Thanksgiving, New Year's, 4th of July, Memorial, and Labor Day. I think that's it. The school's got Martin Luther King Day. They've got Juneteenth. They've got President's Day, Columbus Day. They got teacher in-service, no student contact days, where the teachers have to come in, the bus drivers don't. And then I was watching one on Kennedy, who, I don't know if he's a senator or whatever, Louisiana, talking about what happened at Mardi Gras the other day. Let me just say something. Mardi Gras is demonic. They say it has its origins in Catholicism, indulgences, living it up, and then you're supposed to go into Lent and deny yourself things. It almost reminds me of a form of Amish rumspringa, where they spring the kids to go wild to test their faith. And Mardi Gras is, it's just women doing this and throwing beads and getting drunk, and Americans like that. They love that stuff. I'm a guy. It's wrong, but if a girl wants to flash her breasts, okay. Flash your breasts, cool. But I have no desire to go to Mardi Gras. He said the floats go down the street, and they like to throw things, but they're taught how to throw things. They'll throw crabs, coconuts, beads, and they're taught don't throw at people's faces. And one float had 41 crazy clown acting people trying to assault police officers with the things they were throwing. The police shut the parade down, shut that float down, and I thought, good grief. Hey, Louisiana, why don't you do something unique? Shut down Mardi Gras. It's amazing how America likes to celebrate Wicked. We had a whole month in June dedicated to LGBT. And I'm going to talk about that. Gay pride parades. We're proud to be gay. We're proud to be lesbian. We're proud to be trans. You're not allowed to be proud to be a Christian. You're not allowed to be proud to be a conservative. You're not allowed to be proud to be married to the opposite sex. You're not allowed to be proud to be straight, but we're going to be proud to do things that we should be ashamed of. And I'm not hating. I've been very transparent about my struggles. And an update for those of you that are my regulars, Sierra messaged me on Discord, and sadly, they fired her from her job. The girl that made an accusation against her supposedly had witnesses, even though there was nobody around. And she said, I've never threatened this gal at all. So I offered her on behalf of the regulars and myself that we will pray for her that God will provide. I know what it's like to lose a job for bogus reasons. I was accused of racism, and I wasn't. But that's the world we live in. And a lady called me last night from transportation. She's a driver. Her regular bus monitor retired out. She's got a new one. And the new lady came under her bus and said, they were saying that there was a guy that used to work here that used to salt the steps to the terminal, and nobody's doing it. And it's very icy, and people are going to slip and fall. And she said that was Mike Nelson. He used to care. He was here, and he made sure those steps were salted so that nobody would fall. Remember, the superintendent of Richmond County Schools said that I was racist. I didn't put the salt down for my benefit. I did it off the clock before I clocked in. I remember when I first started there, I'm like, whoa, aluminum steps. Aluminum. They get the frost on them. And we got a lot of heavy people, and I thought, I do not want to see somebody slip and fall. And those women, Mike, you're sweet. Nobody ever salt those steps. Nobody from management, none of the supervisors, nobody. Huh. Isn't that interesting? Am I tooting my horn? Perhaps. You see, I believe in modeling what I believe. If I was racist, I'd say let them fall. I know how to walk on ice. I grew up in ice and snow. No, I care. People are calling me to tell me the pump area is dirty, that the seats aren't getting repaired. And I said, no, they're not. I mean, we all want to feel important, don't we? We all want to be validated. Bridge also left me a voice message on Discord. She said she misses everybody. She said the way her schedule is, she's not able always to get into the chat. And regarding Andrew, she said, I don't understand this guy's obsession. It's clear that he wants his you-know-what sucked, and he wants a homosexual liaison, and he's cock-blocked, and he's mad because you don't like him. And I told her, even if I had the mood for that, he would not be somebody I would hook up with on any level ever. He's gross, he's disgusting, and if I can find his mother's phone number or access to her, I will be giving her a call. Say, do you know what your boy has been doing for 11 years? Could you please talk some sense into him? She works in IT, and the clown has I forgot what the dang name of it is, but it's his own little network or whatever you call it where you can't be tracked. Well, the funny thing is that the feds or the legal system got involved, he can still be tracked. He's a foolish man. And for somebody that's that obsessed over a hard-on with another man, it needs to end. And that brings me to my next point. the gay lifestyle, the trans lifestyle, is not just a few people out there that are into this. It's an aggressive, in your face, ram it down your throat movement. You will accept it or will make you suffer, is the mentality of these people. And I don't like that. I don't like that at all. I totally disgusted by that. And this is the clown. Looks like all-American military boy sitting on a Hummer. Looks like herpes on the right side of the lip there. Why is this guy forever being a pill? When YouTube used to have in the YouTube studio back in 2015, this clown could leave private comments not on the video. And he was vulgar, made clear death threats against me, saying how he could harm me and this and that. It's disturbing. Charlie Kirk's death brought to the forefront the sad reality that gay people get butthurt, no pun intended, and they will kill you because of that. That a lot of these gays are raised by domineering women, that they haven't developed the skills as a man. And yes, I'm making a generalization based on what I've seen. We're going to talk about some of this stuff. You have Femyaz out there who likes to take cheap shots at me regularly, and he attracts a foundation of very disturbed individuals that supported Charlie Kirk being killed. That should cause all of us concern, whether you agree with somebody or not. We all have freedom of speech. To a degree, we have freedom of expression, and I support that. If you want to dress in little girl clothes and run around and pretend you're a girl, you can do that. You know, Mr. Rogers taught kids the world of make-believe, and some people live their adult life in the world of make-believe. I decided I'm a girl today. Well, you're not, but isn't that cute? You know, it's like little girls playing house and going underneath the dining room table. I don't know why under the dining room table was playing house, but okay. It's cute when kids do it. It's disturbing when adults do it. And even I've done my own social experiments that you have grown people coming onto my channel and they say the same dumb thing over and over. WTF are you wearing? I don't know, clown. You tell me what I'm wearing. Looks like a girl shirt. You need to actually ask that. And then they want to make and hurl comments and rude stuff. And I did a short on that, and some tough talking monitor keyboard warrior wrote back, well, you better suck it up, Buttercup. Bye. Another man pretending he's macho behind a monitor or phone screen. There is a dangerous element to American society. And to believe that there isn't is to be foolish. This group of people, not all of them, but there's an element within the LGBT lifestyle. They are aggressive, they are predatory, and they are dangerous. This guy is no exception. He's a predator. He can't get what he wants, so he's going to harass, lie, character assassinate, play both sides of the fence. He won't go away. He's one of those flies that lands on crap and feasts on it. He's what you would call a disturbed mental delusional state. He's angry. He's angry that I'm not attracted to him. He's angry that I wouldn't hook up with him. That made me realize, imagine being a woman and guys are pawing at you and circling you like flies, and you're not interested in them and they won't take no for an answer. I'm starting to understand what some women go through. And ladies, I feel for you. This is disgusting. This is a greasy, sweaty, yucky human being. I wouldn't even be friends with this guy. I have no interest in this clown. I didn't even know who he was. In 2015, he came out from under the basement of rock he was dwelling, and he's not gone away. He has no fear. I have prayed over and over that God would shut him down, teach him a lesson. It hasn't happened. That doesn't mean my God doesn't exist. We have to realize that God doesn't always answer our prayer according to us. Justice delayed is not justice denied. This clown is clearly on a hell track. He's on the express limited straight to the lake of fire. He doesn't see it. He's a mocker. He's a fool. We saw this with Tyler. Tyler was not a mature, well-adjusted adult male. He seemingly did good in his studies, but he took a liberal turn and he got butthurt because somebody dared to criticize the lifestyle that he got involved in, that he was dating a gay man. And this is what we need to say. Most transgender are guys trying to be girls because they're not good looking enough for gay people. So they become a girl and look feminine so they can attract men and really enjoy their homosexual lifestyle. That really is the nuts and bolts of it. And it's so successful that some people that go to this length will fool even heterosexual men. I had a friend, he died a few years ago. He's a truck driver, Mr. Coleman. And he admitted, he said, you know, I've seen some of these lady boys and they'll fool you. I said, yep, I saw it when I lived in Hong Kong. But what bothers me about and there are lesbians, and there are gays, and they're trans. They're militant, predatory. Not all people that are in the LGBT lifestyle are like this. So any of you clowns come on here and say, no, shut up and listen to the video before you open your mouth. Not all LGBT are aggressive predators. Okay? I've talked with men and women that have a same-sex attraction. They're normal, producing, functional. Some of them are born-again Christians, have admitted to me that they've had a same-sex attraction. They don't know why, but it's just there. I'm never going to crucify somebody for blatant honesty. Never. It's 2026. I think we need to realize that there's a lot of people today struggling with a lot of things. But when you're a predator, you don't have to be just a predator towards children. You can be an adult predator towards other adults. You got men that won't take no for an answer by a woman, and they will be a predator and a stalker and harass. This is a harasser. This is an evil, screwed up mental case. And I will continually draw attention to him until he goes away. Because if something happens to me, start right there. Start right there. That guy is a problem. And enough people have a little packet on him, and they're aware. And the FBI could find this clown in minutes. This guy is not that slick. And this is what bothers me. You're gay. You like men. You know how many men out there you could hook up with? Your fixation and hatred of me is the same thing as Tyler. Tyler was not attracted to Charlie Kirk. This guy, and a guy called him out, and he even put the video up on his demonic little channel. Another guy said all this talk about Legatus and Pacific clearly has homosexual desires for him, and he's angry because Mike doesn't want that. And we know this. That's obsession to the point of being scary. This is the stuff that horror movies are made of. And I bring attention to this not to dramatize my channel. This is a reality. He came in the room the other day under Fahanda Clark. Now he's on some gay channel flying gay flags. The guy doesn't have a life. He's on social media to troll. He doesn't have a life. He was in the military, some biological, chemical, another word for ran the broom closet in a military facility. I mean, that's it. Whether he's in the military presently or not, I don't know. His mother and father are, according to his Facebook. He has an obsession with role-playing video games. He lives vicariously through Roman crap like Legatus Lanius and Robert House. I mean, that alone is a psychologist's dream. And I bring attention to this because these kind of people live amongst us. They're a disturbing element of our human society. They want freedom of speech. They want freedom to say and do whatever they want. Then they will harass others as an ex-military or military guy, harass somebody for also having the same freedom they do to say, I don't agree with your beliefs or lifestyle. How ironic is that? And I will say it again. These kinds of people are proof that the Democratic left is worse than communism. It is just as dangerous as Stalin and Lenin and Kim Jong-un and Xi Jinping. They have a Hitlerian mindset. They have a God complex. How'd you like to worship that? Really? Welcome to your God, clowns. I mean, how far does this crap gotta go? Charlie was dedicated to challenging college students to rethink the liberal dogma, the porridge, the toxic mush that college and liberal society pours into their little brains. And he had an impact. Tyler Robinson was a coward. He was a chicken. He hid behind a weapon on a roof because Tyler didn't like his stance. And ultimately, behind all that was Satan. Ultimately, behind Tyler Robinson is he's of his father, the devil, the father of lies, in his war against the Almighty. This man is the same. He's got a war against God. And he's used by Satan to take his war out on one of God's people, myself. The Bible says we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, the dark forces. The clown behind me is controlled by none other than Satan. He thinks he's exercising his free will. He's a puppet of the evil one. The smugness, the cockiness, the threats, the name calling, the lies, the character assassination and smearing. He'll come into the chat room and mention my son and my ex. He's the same one that uploaded a video showing their gravestones and mine. Google did remove that when I complained. He'll come on my video saying you're racist. But then he'll get on Encyclopedia and say, Pacific, Michael McGinty Nelson dates Niggers. He said that when I started dating a black woman in Denver. And I called that out. He hacked into my phone number and called the phone. Michael used the voice changer. Those are cowards. They won't use their real voice. They won't post their address. They won't make themselves vulnerable because they're cowards and chickens. That's why Tyler got on the roof of a school with a weapon. Because he's a coward. He can't stand on the ground and intellectually in front of people stand on fact. This guy can't stand on fact. So he character assassinates. He's of his father, the devil. Lies, lies, dirty little lies. And all of this is based on one reason. He can't get his cock sucked by me. And I'm going to say it like it is. That's one sad desperado. Can't take no for an answer, and he gets off on this. And I draw attention to this because there's an element in the LGBT society, and the LGBT society had better recognize this. You have some dangerous lunatic fringe within your element that doesn't believe in freedom of speech for the rest of us. They're predators. They will not take no for an answer. That's disgusting. That is wrong. And I have had pretty much an attitude of live and let live. But this is ridiculous. This has gone too far. That's my arch enemy right there. A role play clown. He tried to hit on a girl named Luann years ago from down under or New Zealand. I can't remember which. And she told me herself, the guy had an obsession with you. He got very angry when you said he looked like Pillsbury Doughboy. I said, well, gee, he made death threats against me. And when I finally saw the guy's face, I'm like, this is the one threatening me. I'm not afraid of this clown physically. I see a lot of flab there. But this is the guy that will shoot somebody. This is the guy that will do a Tyler Robinson. I can tell by looking at this cat that he was bullied in school, made fun of and teased. His Facebook says Arlington, Virginia. Well, that's a bedroom community for the DC employees and mostly liberals at that. I could see him not fitting in school. I could be wrong. And I don't care. There's all kinds of people. When I drove a bus, I don't tolerate bullying. Even if it was a kid that looked like him, I'd say, hey, leave him alone. It's not okay. I don't tolerate bullying. I've been bullied. I know what it's like, and I will stand up for the underdog. But this guy came out of nowhere in 2015. He wants attention, I'll give it to him. This is a disturbed dude. And supposedly, this is what he looks like now. This is one photo. See if we can find the others. I mean, this is a clown show. This might be what he looks like now. I cut out what looks like family members. That's not somebody I would look at and shake in fear. He doesn't evoke that. And we got a lot of that on the internet. Bullied people bully others. The internet was the first place that bullied people could get revenge. Hiding in a basement, hiding behind a monitor. Keyboard warriors, they called them. Zuckerberg. Google people. A lot of those people were probably bullied in school. You can't understand until you dig deeper into the psychology of what is going on. This is when he showed up in Manila. Michael McGinty Nelson, if you don't remove your channel, I will crush your bones and burn your skin. Okay, dude. You went all the way to Manila to make that video because I'd done a video saying I'm going in 2018. So we released it a few months before I went. How come you don't put your address and your real stuff out there, kiddo? You're such a brave warrior. That's my point. Tyler Robinson had a problem. It's okay to disagree with somebody. Even if you're wrong, it's okay. You have that right. But to shoot somebody who is no threat to you. Charlie was no threat to you and your little love tryst with a homosexual male. Femyaz is offended that I won't call him a girl. No, you were born a dude. I saw your other pictures. And you harassed a 14-year-old. You should go to jail for that. Harassing an underage kid. You are a bully because you've been bullied. And you live with mommy. And you yourself said, I'm terrified at the idea of getting a job. So you want to sit there and be a smartass on the internet and dress in little skirts and stuff and pantaloons because you attract a bunch of scary people. Yeah, I'm going to say it like it is. And when we live in a Democrat-dominant America where Democrats are saying hate crimes if you offend them, these folks, some of them are radical, dangerous extremists. They're a threat to my life. I'm not a threat to theirs. These Democrats in America better wake up about this lunatic, fringe, young kid element. These people aren't to be played with. They're emotionally foot in the head. And then they get a gun. Watch out. Let's call it out. These lunatic, fringe leftists in the young people are a danger to your freedom. They don't want you to have freedom. They don't want you to say anything that hurts their little feelings. But they can cuss at us, threaten us, and hide behind a monitor and go "Ugh," all day long. And it culminates in a good man's death, a father taken out, a husband taken out, a man who didn't start riots, but he spoke, intellectual, challenged college kids to think. Some turned around. That's why it was called Turning Point. Well, Tyler had a turning point too. Now he can have fun sitting and rotting in a prison. Stupid choices, dude. Stupid. At least they're still grown adults that don't tolerate that. God knows what's going to happen to this country if it's taken over by this woke generation. I hope to God I'm dead and gone. Because the implications of that are scary. I love it when these clowns refer to Trump as Hitler. That behind me is a Hitler disciple. I don't like what you say. I'm going to threaten you. They're not grown men. They're boys raised by domineering or permissive women or whatever. They have the emotional construct of a girl. That is not a grown man. So what that he was in the military? He's a coward hiding behind a Dollar Tree sunglasses. Get a look at that. And I will continue to call him out until he goes away. He wants to be a man. He can get on video, take all his little puppet disguises off and apologize and say, okay, I give. But he won't. I'm getting tired of this stuff being rammed down our throats. You want to be gay? You want to be lesbian? Go ahead. You got to answer to God for that, not me. But some of you in that element, you're not satisfied with just that. You want to attack us? You want to be a predator? You want to endanger us? Who's Hitler here? I never said round up all the gays and shoot them. I don't believe that. I know Christian men that struggle with same-sex lust. I know Christian women that struggle with it. There's times deep down in my flesh, I wish I could be a girl and be a lesbian. At least I get a date with a pretty woman. Did you hear what I just said? It is 2026. If I was a slender, attractive girl, I'd have a better chance of getting a date with a hot woman than I do as a grown man. I have a better chance of getting a date with a homosexual male than I do an attractive, petite, slender woman. Even on my channel, women will message me and then they drop off. I don't say anything inappropriate to them. You know, we live in a world now where specifically in my culture, men have to walk on eggshells with most women, and I'm sick of it, and I won't. I'm a gentleman. I treat a woman like a lady. But on my channel, when I cut and tear into subjects, I'm not going to spare no mercy. I'm not a danger to women. And I'm not going to sit there and try to be a simp and be careful what I say so that I can attract some fragile eggshell woman to go out with me. I'm not going to do it. Women claim that they want equality and they're feminist and they don't need a man. Well, then don't be offended at what I say then. You think you're a man, you don't need us and you're better than us, then tough it up, buttercup. I've given up on love. I'm not in love. I mean, it's a pointless pursuit. I woke up and sat on my bed in the dark this morning. I said, God, what are you doing right now it's dark here? God doesn't sleep. He doesn't slumber. He's running a universe. Shoot, we can't even run our lives with perfection, and God's running a universe. He can hear everybody in the world pray at the same time, and he can answer prayers. Talk about women say they multitask. Give me a break. God is the Lord of multitasking. And what's funny is he's not sweating. He's not struggling. God doesn't have body odor. God doesn't smell like stank. It's amazing when you stop and think about God, that he wants a relationship with me. And instead, I've been focused most of my life on wanting the dream wife and pursuing it to get nothing but sand in the hand, when I should be pursuing a love relationship with God. It's amazing how broken even I am. Israel wanted a king, and God said, I will be your king. No, we want a king. And look at the problems that got them into. Dragged them into wars, dragged them into problems. I apologize. Yesterday, the air was smelly. There's a meat rendering plant, and it's a few miles away, but if the wind blows, it brings a smell. I think, why does my house stink? And then I'll go outside, I'm like, oh, it's that dang meat place. I think it's called Shapiro. And I named it Namco, Nasty Arse Meat Company. It stinks. I can't imagine working there. I mean, you'd throw up. When I drive by there in my truck, when I used to go downtown, it's like, oh, you imagine working in there all day? They process beef and stuff. I look at YouTube channels. And I cannot believe how much crap is out there. This is my flea market buddy. He sells interesting art. He took this picture in a small little town on the highway in Georgia, and that's an abandoned house. The right side of it is sinking into the ground. The ivy has taken over. Looks like a trellis. That's the front porch roof. About a 1920s architectural clapboard style. That house is gone. And I was going to joke to everybody and say that's my next fixer-upper project. Unfortunately, the only thing you can do for that is put a bulldozer blade straight down and push forward. But it's still cool looking. And I said that if I didn't maintain my yard in 3 years, that stuff would start to encircle and grow all over the house. That's how vicious the vines and they're in my yard. Mowing keeps them at bay, but if I don't mow it, it would overtake. It would take over the whole back room of the house. It'd run feeders or little tendrils across the roof. I've seen houses completely encased, not too far from where I live. There was a documentary years ago. I can't remember the name of the neighborhood. Made national news. They shut it down because of toxic groundwater. And people were getting sick. And when I first moved here, I drove down streets where the trees had grown out onto the pavement and these houses were overtaken with jungle growth. I'm like, what happened in here? And somebody said they evacuated everybody out. Mardi Gras, by the way, is a debauchery. And I never can understand Americans' obsession with decadence. I was talking last night about what's coming out in the Epstein files. Of course, we don't get all the names have been crossed out, which is ridiculous. If you're going to release the files, release the files. Stop crossing everything out. And they're talking about cannibalism. They're talking about harvesting babies to make jerky meat. And they're talking code to each other. Let me know when you come back. I'll have some beef jerky ready for you. Elon Musk said, let me know when you got your pizza party. Pizza party was a term for the teenage girls. I've never trusted Elon Musk. Never. And what we're learning is people with big money that wear suits and ties and got big money, we're all getting together and performing cannibalism, sexual acts. I mean, really, at the end of the day, satanic ritual, killing babies, frying their body parts, taking the foreskins off, doing adrenochrome. These are grown professionals. And people get on my channel, WTF are you wearing? I'm not the one doing that. Start looking at the ones with the suit and ties. They're the danger. Start looking at this right here. Start looking at this right here. Professionally dressed. An 11-year troll of my channel. 11 years of this. 11 years. I'm going to say it again, people, as long as I live. I'm not the problem to society. I'm not the problem to society. This is not hurting anybody. You may not like it. You may think I'm a fruitcake. I'm not. I hate fruitcake. I speak the truth. There's people on the left that would love to kill me. There are people right here in Augusta that would rejoice over my blood being shed. When you wake up and realize that's kind of America you live in, then you're starting to get a grip. They don't like truth. People on the left don't like truth. People within the LGBT community do not like truth. They will kill you. Excuse me while I blow my nose. It's definitely demanding my attention today. My nose is having an intimate relationship with Kleenex. The air quality this winter has been particularly bad. By the way, Russia's had the worst winter and the heaviest snowfall in 200 years. Let's continue to talk about global warming, people. Another bunch of horse manure. Where's my eucalyptus? I need to clear out my sinuses. Good grief. The Dress for Success crowd is eating babies, poonging teen girls. Why wasn't this stuff brought out to our attention years ago? This is eucalyptus oil for anybody who doubts. If I can get rid of the screensaver. Boy, it plugged up good. It's hard to smell it. There we go. This is strong stuff. I love eucalyptus. It's a good smell. And people need to realize, you want to wear a suit and tie, go ahead. But don't judge me because I don't. I'm not the ones teaching children that they can change their sex. I got a message from a man. How are you doing, brother? Clicked on it because I didn't recognize the name. Took me to his channel, video shorts of a very, very young, maybe 7, 8-year-old girl. Muted light in a room, big sign on the back wall, God, country, and guns. Not something a girl would put in her own room, I'm sure. And the camera focus seems to be somewhere between here and here on her, or the face. And then there's one video by the man with the ball cap on, and I immediately sent the link to one of my moderators. I said, what is this? And the moderator's wife, I said, I want your analysis of this. And she said, either that's a grandchild or he's some creepy perv, but either way, that whole thing radiates creepy. And I said, hide that thing off of my channel, please. No one should be putting their little girls out there on the internet. And if that's your channel and you got nothing but shorts of her being, I don't know what she's doing, that's disturbing. It doesn't, that just endorses the creepy old man thing. And I'm sorry if you're listening and I've read you wrong, but I'm not having anything with that connected to my channel. Ever. If that's your granddaughter or whatever, you shouldn't be putting that on the internet. There's too many creeps. But I'm 59. I'm going to be 60 next month. And you got a guy 20 plus years younger than me still trolling. 11 years. I'd like to get on Fox News and draw attention to this. I'd like to get on the media and have them do a story on this. You want attention? Let's bring it national. Let's talk about the obsession of an LGBT supporter and how they've made death threats and doxed me. And let's put this out here. Because CNN and these liberal networks don't want to talk about that. I don't believe there was anything in the news about a Mardi Gras float trying to bomb the police with coconuts and objects that could kill or hurt somebody. And they call that the evening news. That is a lie. It is not the news. It is not professional journalism anymore. They want to make the LGBT look like great people. There's a dangerous element in the middle of the LGBT community. They're violent. They're intolerant. They're dangerous. I'm getting sick and tired of all the infomercials from the left about all the harassment that the LGBT suffers at the hands of conservatives and Trump supporters. I'm not seeing it. When's the last time a school system pushed marriage between a man and a woman? When's the last time they pushed for abstinence? The school system is a breeding ground to raise disciples to go right into the LGBT community. It's okay, Tommy, if you believe you're a girl, you can use the girls' bathroom today. Putting litter boxes in the classroom for kids who want to believe they're a furry. That's not education, folks. I don't care what you call it, but it's not education. It's foolishness. And I do some outlandish things on my channel. I dress feminine. You know why? Because I like the feel of satin. I like the feel of sexy stuff. I'm a little strange. But no, I don't want to fall in love with a man. I don't want to date a man. I wouldn't even have a close male friend living in my house. I don't want closeness with men that way. I have weird sexual stuff that goes through me, like anybody else. You got men and women that are married. And they love each other, but then life being what it is, familiarity breeds contempt. Sometimes they try to find ways to spice up their marriage because they both have a sex drive, but it's cooled. And sometimes people have experimented with things within their marriage. They might role play or dress up or talk through scenarios, whatever. My personal opinion, that's between them. I think you need to not bring other people into that. You got swingers and all that. I mean, it's fun. It's absolute fun because it's wrong. The attraction to taboo is in every single one of us. And on my channel, I'm here to talk about it. I'm here to put voice to it. It's the elephant in the room. You got people that are on fire for the Lord and they will not admit the fact that they got struggles in their marriage or that they might have a same-sex curiosity. They won't do it because they know what will happen if they do. And that's a shame. This is supposed to be home of the free, land of the brave. We should be, especially as a Christian, free enough to be able to confess that we have some darkness within ourselves. And when you live in a society that punishes you for that, that trains us to be dishonest. That trains us to be plastic. It trains us to be fake. Look at the news media. Look at all the people that they hire. Those aren't genuine reporters. The women fold their hands a certain way. They look like they care. It's all contrived. It's all acting. And you go to a store or you go to a business and you complain, well, I'm really sorry that you went through that. No, you're not. Quit saying that. We're trained to act. Some of the biggest jerks I know wear suits and ties. Okay? And our society is hardwired. They see a guy walking through town dressed like me. They're not going to look at me with the same level that they'll look at somebody with a suit and tie. And I'm here to challenge that. Just because I'm dressed comfortable and somewhat ragamuffin, you will make an assertion You will make a mental conclusion that whatever. And you'll see the guy with the suit and tie and the shingles outside his office. Oh, he's a professional. Yeah, have you seen what he's charging? No, he's been screwing all his patients, cheating on his wife, taking showers with his teen daughter. Biden was showering with his 12-year-old girl. What man showers with a 12-year-old girl? I wouldn't do it. You're naked in the shower with a girl and she's starting to be developed. What are you doing? Hello? And people voted that clown into office. He wears the right clothes. He went to college. We've got Epstein. They're all professionally dressed. Hear what I'm saying. You've been duped. You want to wear professional clothing, do it. But stop telling me that you're better because of the clothing you're wearing than I am. I already know that I will be discriminated against dressed like this. If I was to walk into Capitol Hill dressed like this, nobody would take me seriously. That's what's wrong with our society. I have more authority in my voice than these cats do with their dress up. It's interesting when the disciples got saved. The Bible says they saw that they were ordinary, unschooled men. But they spoke with authority, and they could tell they had been with Jesus. What are we marked with? By the clothes we wear, the house we own, the car we drive? Yeah, in America, that's what's the defining moment. Remember, the professionals were at Epstein Island eating babies. Remember, they were drinking adrenochrome. Remember, they were pooging teen girls. And people judge me because I have a woman's top on. Or they judge me for this. I remodeled my house. I'm a light in my neighborhood. I've told people teenagers need to be taught to dress appropriately. Grown men are going to look. Lust does not discriminate based on age. You got teenagers that are my height, my build, and they got 3 inches of meat and they're showing it. That's going to cause a problem. Women say, oh, men are perverts and pedophiles. No, we're not. But your daughter's walking around, prancing around in front of us. We're going to notice, lady. Why don't you tell her how to dress? I'm tired of us having to be careful about everything we say. Let's call it out, folks. Let's call it out. Wrong is wrong. So go ahead and judge me based on the clothing I wear. Go ahead. But you can't argue against what I'm saying here. And now I know why I went through all the abuse and the rejection and the craziness and the bullying. Because instead of becoming like Andrew, who's sitting in a corner threatening people on the internet, I said, well, you know what? I've been laughed at so much. Let them laugh some more. I'm going to come out and be honest in the name of God, faults and all. And the society cannot handle that. Tyler Robinson couldn't handle a Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk was more of a man than Tyler and his little boyfriend. Charlie Kirk was more of a man than Tyler and his boyfriend. Charlie Kirk is more of a man than Andrew Drescher because he stood on conviction. He had a wife, he was a father, and some clown, some jerk, some coward, some disturbed emotional mess of a kid shot him. We need to start talking about these youngsters today. Stop ignoring it. It is a ticking time bomb, folks. Grown people my age are living in fear and shutting their mouth. Speak up, stand up, rise up, O men of God. Speak out about this. Draw attention to this lunatic fringe. They're dangerous. They're dangerous. They're cowards. And they'll silence me. They'll shoot. They'll sniper. They'll lie in wait and they'll hide. We're in a war, folks. And we didn't declare it. They did. The devil did. When you get saved, you have been drafted into an army, whether you like it or not. Devil doesn't fool with you when you're outside. When you're in the Hollywood elite, when you're in the Democrat left, the devil doesn't fool with you. He got you. But when you get saved, the devil hates you and will come after you like a roaring lion. He does it to me every day. Andrew Drescher's just one of his minions. Demonic manifestation in a human form. He can sit here. He watches every video I produce. Probably rubbing himself one out every day and mocking at the same time. This is a disturbed soul. This isn't my opinion. This is a disturbed, harassing troll. And Bridge is one of my moderators. She's not afraid to call it what it is. She said, this Andrew guy is there's clearly something wrong. I said, you think? I wish I could play the voice recording on here. He makes it evident why he does this. He gets a boner over me, and I'm not going to entertain the clown. That's disgusting. Even if I was in the mood for a gay little frolic, you wouldn't be picked ever. Oh my gosh. Your penis is your God. You better get right. You better get saved. You're thinking with the wrong head, dude. You spent 11 years on this. You might need to get a lobotomy or something. Good night. And I thank God for my channel. It separates the girls from the ladies. All of a sudden, even now, no more texts. Wow, what did I say that offended the women? I wasn't talking about all of them. Now they're not responding at all. So I don't. That's good. It shows me they're not really seriously interested in me. Quit wasting everybody's time. I got to go to work. I got to pay the bills, but I don't have to have a relationship with you either. There's no value in this. Zero. I'm tired of pursuing zero. I wasn't saved by zero like Fix. I was saved by God. My life is supposed to be productive. Send me a pretty lady who wants to be with a real man, who wants to get alongside of me and be on this channel, be part of my life, and we're on fire for God. And she encourages me and I encourage her. But all these other girls, go play house. Go play your game. Leave me alone. I've yet to see a woman in America that's got the guts, who's decent looking. They don't want a man. They want a soy boy. They want a man that'll, I don't know what they want, but they don't want a man. They don't want an honest man like this. That's too scary for them. Too scary. That's good. At least my being honest here, what you see is what you get. Date sites are a lie, people. It's all about game playing, dress for success, and make the date look good. I want to be careful what I say. I don't know Erica Kirk at all. I would have chose her as a wife. Another fake dyed blonde hair chickie. She wears all that professional clothing. I'm not attracted to that. Erica's not my kind of girl. But there's a lot of weird stuff coming out. A lot of stuff that doesn't give her a lot of credibility. Charlie, Would I have gotten along with Charlie Kirk in real life? Probably not. I'm different. But I support the man and his message, whether he was my buddy or not. And at the end of the day, even if I don't agree with everybody on iota, we all on the same team in Christ. I may not look like you. I may not be called to be just like you. And I'm not supposed, nowhere in the Bible am I called to be like anybody else but one. Jesus. And what does that look like? God called the sons of thunder, the fishermen. He called a tax collector. Were they all supposed to be exactly like and walk in CCP synchronism like they're in the military? No. The Bible says one Lord, one faith, one baptism. God created diversity for a reason, but the brain had better be intact. All of us as Christians need to be on the same page as this. But your expression, your unique artsiness, you want to be a professional, be a professional. You want to be more artsy, you want to be laid back, be who God made you to be. Because we need you in God's army. I'm tired of people trying to make cookie cutter Christians. Man, I've got a complaint about today's Christian music. It's disturbing. I liked Maranatha Praise back in the day. Most of you don't even know what that is. I like John Michael Talbot. He's Catholic, and I don't agree with Roman Catholicism, but it's pretty clear that John got born again, but he's still stuck in the trappings of Roman Catholic theology, which I don't like. But his music connects with me more than any other Christian artist I've ever heard. Most music today, if men and women are honest, is emotionally driven. And that goes for rock. And emotions are often suspect. You got a lot of Christian music, you can't tell if it's singing about God or some crush on a girl. And a lot of Christian music lacks the substance that the old bands had, even in secular rock. Cheesy, trite stuff. I'm sorry, when John Michael Talbot sings, I'm rare. Not too many people like my kind of music. But he had a style that makes me think of God and nothing else. It's very rare for Christian music to do that. You are my hiding place, oh God. Man, his style, the acoustic guitar, the simplicity of it. You always fill my heart with songs of deliverance. That violin kicks in. Soul felt. I want a deeper relationship with God. You go to church and it turns me off. Track music. Remember the 80s? Boring music, and then they go, yeah, it's got that same, the elevation, the shift, track music. We as Christians should be deeper in our music than anybody out there. And our music is the worst. I'd rather listen to ELO. I'd rather listen to Gordon Lightfoot than what they're playing in church. I'm sorry, there's no heart or passion to this crap. And I know I'm rare. And that's why a lot of women don't want to be with me, because they're into that crap. And I can tell you're disciples of shallow. Where are women that are deeper than that? Where are women that passionately make love? Not just once a year. Where are women that want to feel the wind in their hair? Where are women that get out of the dang box? Not grow hair into their arms and be weird, but where are the women that get into the passion of God and me? And where are those? I don't know where they are. I haven't ran into any of them. That's why I ran to Hong Kong. That's why I ran after illicit sex with foreign women, because they exuded something I don't see here. I'm sorry, but a lot of our culture's walking dead. Zombie, zombie. Go to church. People say hi to little cliques. Wow, Jesus has really made a difference in here. Not. And people don't like it when I say what I say, but hey, that's too bad. If I step on your toes, I'm not trying to. Maybe because I'm speaking the truth, huh? I need something deeper. Even yesterday, I said, that stupid mentality, you'll owe nothing and be happy. You know what I said last night? That guy from Burma lit a fire in me. God, I wish I had enough money. I'd just sell my house and not be strapped to a house and worried about this and that. I wish I could just go with the wind, that you would underwrite me and I could just go to other cultures and, be part of something there. I wish I could be used. And it's as if though God said, you are, and you be a missionary right here on YouTube, because people need to hear it right here in this America. You don't need to go overseas. You need to be a missionary to America, because America's not hearing the truth that you have to give. People throw money at all these dang channels. Miss Tarot Card. And you got Christians out there making Christianity look like buffoonity. Lord, every nation on earth shall adore you. Every people will call on your name. Every knee will bow, every tongue confess your name. Jesus is Lord. Now it's this silly, come, Jesus, come. Are you serious? And I look at women and they get giddy about that stuff. And I'm like, yep, that's why I'm not getting dates with the Christian women. They're afraid of a man with depth. They're afraid of a man who will call it like it is. Oh, women will say, oh, a real man. Yeah. The one that wears cowboy boots, has a lifted up pickup truck, and talks down to everybody. That's what they call a man. We dealt with that yesterday. The twuck culture. I love a pickup truck. I love to drive a Chevy to the levee, but I don't drink no whiskey. I love my M35A2, but it doesn't define me. Though I must say, I have psychological problems at the thought if I had to drive a Prius or a small car. I would have some psychological issues because I hate that stuff. A truck doesn't define me. But yes, the vehicle I drive is an extension of what I like. I like driving the M35. It's rugged. It's a truck. I liked it when people looked at it. I didn't have to rev the pedal at all. Just the look of the grill and the bumper and the truck and the fenders shouted loud and clear. What are these other silly little things on the road? They're just in my way. I want something deeper, and I cannot often find it. It certainly doesn't exist in this culture. It doesn't exist even in our church. But when pastor preaches the word, it says in the Bible that God is a consuming fire. Have you ever meditated on that? What does that mean to you, shallow people? What does that mean to you? God wants to consume all of me. What does that mean? Well, he wants to burn all that crap that doesn't belong in our life, for one thing. Even me. I rush to get out of bed, clean myself up, and get on the internet. Yesterday and this morning, I sat on my bed and stared in the dark for a minute, and at least I said, God, what are you doing right now? People, they struggle. They just don't want to believe that God created the earth in 6 days. People, he could have spoken into existence in a nanosecond. Why is 6 days so hard? The Democrats give confusing messages. The greatest danger facing the world is global warming. No, the greatest danger facing humanity is that there's a devil and he's lying to every one of you and he wants all of you to be lost souls. That's the greatest danger. The greatest need for everybody is now is the day of salvation. Climate changes. So what? There's nothing you can do about it. So ban air conditioning, refrigerant, ban aerosol deodorant cans, whatever. All the environmentalists and the Democrat left needs to do is read the end of the book of Revelation, and God's not going to recycle this earth. He's going to strike the oceans with possibly a meteorite called wormwood that's going to kill the sea life and turn it to blood. And it's because of our sin. And it's because his judgment is coming. And we're the ones that brought danger to creation. When we sinned, fear came into existence. Adam was ashamed of nudity. What? Before you ate that fruit, you were fine. The animals suddenly were like, uh-oh, don't trust those two. That's why you can't go up to a grizzly bear. You got these clowns. Well, grizzlies are nice. They both got eaten. Crocodile hunter got too close to a stingray. It was reminded again that you cannot talk with the animals, buddy. Keep your distance from some of these things. It's amazing what people will do to get attention. I'm not swimming with great white sharks. Sorry. I wouldn't even feel comfortable in one of those iron bar cages being lowered in there. I'd be like, you know what? I'd be on that underwater microphone. Get me out of here. I don't like this. I don't feel like seeing a big giant rows of teeth smiling outside iron bars. Yeesh. That's a little too close. Pull up, Scotty. Pull up. I love the ocean, but I have respect for it. That's gone today in the young. They're cocky. They're smug. They run their mouth. Doesn't it say something about that? Doesn't it say something about, is it Jude? Something about that. Hey, Jude. But these men revile the things which they do not understand, and the things which they know by instinct, like unreasoning animals. By these things they are destroyed. They were saying to you, in the last time there shall be mockers following. Oh, let's put up that beautiful bean footage, people. Let's put up that beautiful bean footage. They were saying to you, in the last time there shall be mockers following after their own ungodly lusts. Look what's on the side of his lip. I tell you what, folks. Who are the people that are the danger now? Tyler Robinson, following after his ungodly lust of another man. That wasn't a girl. It's funny how humans have become so ridiculous. They want to be homosexual, but they don't want to come out and be seen as that. So they'll go after a man that dresses girly. What, as if though that's going to change things? They're lying to themselves. Following after their own ungodly lust. These are the ones who cause divisions, worldly minded, devoid of the Spirit. That guy right there is a lost soul. Following after his ungodly lust, defending LGBT. But then he'll get on there and say, Michael's gay. Michael's this. He's a devil. His father is Lucifer. And I will call it out because we are under attack. The mockers are the ones that are celebrating in shameful acts. They always have been. The beer drinking, liquid courage boys at the bar making fun of us Christians. Oh, wow, you got liquid courage and you run your mouth. Mardi Gras is just decadence. That's all it is. And I was reading, do Christians celebrate Mardi Gras? And said, yes. Well, guess what, Christians? Be not conformed to the patterns of this world, but be transformed by your mind. Stay out of Mardi Gras. You have no business down there. All it is a titty bar. Drunk, carousing, decadent. So is Burning Man in Las Vegas, in the desert, or wherever that is. Burning Man is nothing but a bunch of satanic nonsense. We are seeing the rise of paganism in America. It's been going on in concentrated forms, but it's reared up its ugly head. And those professional suit and tie people that made millions of dollars, they're doing satanic ritual and sacrificing babies to Molech, to the devil. Grown professionals that deny the existence of God, that say global warming is a reality, they go right back to their Neanderthal roots of killing babies. Every false religion has done it. From Aztec warriors to Quetzalcoatl and Corazon. You take a baby with a beating heart, a child, cut it out and hold it up to the sky at the top of the pyramid. They're doing that in America. Are you waking up yet? This guy was in the military. No, I don't support our troops. Have you seen some of our troops? This guy is supposed to fight terrorism at home and abroad. Instead, he's fighting me. I stand up for the rights and champion values of America. This guy has been harassing me for 11 years and is in the military. Hello? Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Our military's been hijacked by sexual politics. Let's look down our pants and see what we are today. Well, you're a bunch of sissies. Growing up by women that spoiled you, let you do whatever you want. No daddy with a pair. That's evident. Woke doesn't come from grown men pursuing God. Woke comes from sissy parents or a dad that checked out. That's why you have so much killing in the black community. 75% of black kids are raised by mom who's emotionally driven logic. And they don't have the skills to say, when they get angry, they're going to shoot or beat you up. That's not proper child development, people. I'm not a psychologist, but I'm learning psychology by watching what's happening. And this is what we've done as a society, folks. We look at this, and a mom somewhere says, I'm so proud of you, Andrew. Yeah. Mama, do you know what's up here? Americans better get off of this dress trip. Because it wasn't people that look like me down on an island doing decadent, demonic things. Let that sink in. Women seem to have more manliness about them today than most men. Things have changed so much. Women have to go to work full time to survive now. They're losing their femininity. They're losing their sweetness. They're becoming hardened and jaded. There's videos out now. I've seen several. I was talking to my tax guy. He works at Amazon full time. And I said, I just saw a video this morning that said, do not date Amazon girls. And he laughed and he said, I've noticed that I've worked out there that they all date each other. And he said, and they don't last. I said, no. The video said, if you got $50 to your name in a car, they want to date you. The video is also saying, do not date women in the medical field or in the hair or nail salons. I'm like, huh? I was married to an LPN. And when I start watching these videos, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's the truth. Women that give compassion and in the compassion industry have little or none for their husbands. But there were other things in there. I don't want to make a generalization. I take each woman as an individual, irregardless of what they do. But it does cause me to pause and go, is there something to this? Perhaps. I wonder what's going to happen to this country in another 10 years. I wonder if the Lord's going to blow the trumpet in my lifetime. I pray he does, but I'm selfish. I don't want to die. I want to just go home. I used to think when I was driving a bus with these disrespectful, hateful kids in Richmond County, can you imagine the rash you have when you're going down Meadowbrook Drive, 40 miles an hour of the loaded bus, and you suddenly go, and the bus is just rolling, and the kids, which aren't paying attention, and they're starting to realize, hey, where's the driver? Oh my gosh. That little event's going to get some attention, depending on what time of day it is. In whatever corner of the globe it happens, there's going to be car crashes. There might be a small Cessna plane come down in the middle of a hospital wall. Some old lady cooking something on the stove leaves and the house catches on fire because the pot burns up. Yeah, there's going to be some problems. Can you imagine a doctor doing brain surgery and he's got all his orderlies around him and he goes poof? Wow, can you imagine? 911, do you have an emergency? How's the 911 operator going to handle that? My mom just disappeared. What do you mean? I'm standing here talking to her and she disappeared. 911's going to be thinking they're getting prank calls. Somebody running the bathtub in an upstairs apartment and they disappear and the water keeps running. Somebody down below is going, what in the world is all that? Where's this water coming from? Yeah, there's going to be some problems. Guy driving a tanker truck with hazmat on it. Who knows what's going to be? I like thinking about that. Because before I was saved, the world was depressing. If it's just millions and billions of years, what's the point? But to learn that there is God and that He has a plan for us and that He died for us and that He saved us to be with Him forever, that gives you a little more joy in your daily walk through this crazy, wicked world. If God didn't exist, I'd have nothing. Nothing. And that's the lie, the devil. These celebs, they're so full of themselves. Why are we surprised at that? The devil was full of himself. I will be like the Most High. Do you notice the direct correlation of cockiness and unbelievers? Let's unpack that psychology. Unbelievers are very smug, very cocky. That's satanic. They don't realize they'll have to give an account for it. They don't realize there's something called eternity. They think it's all about this moment. Some of the early Christians were much more humble than we are today. We got too much arrogance in our culture of Christians today, too much smugness. Pride in that regard is only from Satan. It's not from God. And you got a lot of people in America that are full of themselves. A lot. It's all around us. That's demonic. That's of Satan. Jesus nailed the religious leaders of his day. Pharisee went in and said, I thank thee, God, that I'm not like this publican over here. The publican wouldn't even put his eyes heavenward and said, oh God, be merciful to me. Jesus said, whose prayer was heard? The one that was humble, obviously. You got people in church? Let us pray. Oh God! I've been under preachers. They make a big old show. Didn't Jesus say something about all that? We beseech thee, oh God. And I'm sitting back there going, oh God, this is ridiculous. I'm very shy about praying publicly because it's too easy to want to show off, to put forth this piety. I don't like it. Jesus says, go into your prayer closet. Whatever that is. It can be your bedroom. When we talk to God, we don't need to make a show of it. We need to do it in secret. Because if we're not doing it in secret, then don't do it in public. Because then you're just being a show pony. If you're not praying in private, don't be praying in public and making a public spectacle. You better be praying in private. That's where you should develop your relationship with God on an intimate level. If you're playing public games, you're no different than the suit and tie clown. Let's put on an act. My stomach's talking at me this morning. Mockers, scoffers. That's what these trolls are. They're not godly. They don't have a moral compass. And they're sitting there judging and analyzing me. It's laughable. They're goaded by the devil. Proof again. People say there's no God. Oh, yeah, there is. I know there's a devil. Because you see a person doing the same thing for 11 years, full of dripping arrogance. What is his fixation to me? Following his ungodly lust. wanting to be king over me. I mean, that's just, he'd be a psychologist's dream. The guy knows deep down inside if he was to get around truly intelligent people, they'd look at him and say, dude, there's something wrong with you. Some people get in the military because it's the only chance they have. It's not because they wanted to serve God and country. Back in the 60s, some police officers and judges said, look, you either go in the military or I'm going to throw your butt in jail. So guess what? Now they're being trained how to carry a gun. Why do you think so many people get out of the military and go off the deep end? Because they got trained to, that's why. Even me as a Christian, I'm amazed how easy it is to lose my own focus, to get caught up in the life around me. When you mature in the faith, when you think deeper, sometimes you can stand outside the arenas you used to run in and go, you know what, this really is ridiculous. I think of that word caught up at the elementary school playground in Mammoth. We're at the base of the Sierra Nevadas in the valley floor. We get a lot of dust devils. There'd be a breeze blowing, and then suddenly you see one start in the sandy area and work its way across the blacktop, pick up tumbleweeds and bits of paper and trash, and you'd see a piece of refuse, and you'd watch it. And it'd get caught up. And guess what? If you learn to look at celebs and media people and Democrats and trolls, they're the same way. They get caught up and they think that they're living in a no, you're gone, dude. Satan's spinning you around. Whee! Just take a step outside yourself, people. Caught up. I like classic trucks, but I've seen people get caught up in that. That's all they can talk about. I talked about it with the gun-toting crowd. I believe in the right to keep and bear arms. I bear mine every day. But seriously, I believe. But when people wear that on their sleeve, that's their God. That's their security blanket. Let me say something to you people. My God is my security system, not a gun. If God doesn't have my back, no weapon does. If God doesn't have me in his hand, I'm in danger, no matter where I go or what I do. If I'm in the center of God's will, I could be in the hood and be protected better than being armed and security systems and bodyguards. Let that sink in, people. Unless the Lord builds a house, they that labor to build it labor in vain. Go ahead and brag about all your guns. You're insecure. Time to admit it. Time to confess it. You're scared. Well, I get scared too. I don't like evil. The name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous run into it and are safe. When I'm scared, I don't grab my Glock. I don't grab my AR-15. I grab the Lord. I grab Jesus. Because when I'm afraid, you are my hiding place. You always fill my heart with songs of deliverance. Whenever I am afraid, I will trust in you. Not my Smith & Wesson, not my Remington, my knife or my mace, can of spray. I will trust in you. I don't need to prove my manhood by revving an accelerator pedal. I don't need to prove my manhood by growing a ZZ Top, Fu Manchu, or the mutton chops, or the handlebars. I don't need to prove anything. I need to lay prostrate before the mighty God and say, God, it's Monday. Work through me today. Protect me today. Protect me from the enemy and his ways through other people. All these celebs have bodyguards and everything. I laugh when people say, we don't need a wall on the southern border. And they live behind walled estates with security cameras and goons protecting them. Huh. You have everything but Jesus. Nice. Nicely done. There's a story that our pastor told. There was a priest at a Catholic church in Europe or whatever, a long time ago, where somebody hired than that priest wanted to get rid of him, and he paid some guy to go up in the rafters and hold a big rock and drop it on him. Well, the guy fell out of there with the rock, and the rock dropped on himself and killed him. Oops, that didn't go according to plan. You clowns that got traps set for Michael, be aware that you could be hung in your own. Why don't you just bow your heart and knee and get saved and stop the fight? Because when you're ultimately fighting against God, and you will not win that one ever. And if you take me out, guess what? You give me a one-way ticket to heaven. And then you get the privilege of living with the consequences. Because even if you get away with it in this life, you will stand and God will say, Michael Nelson, you murdered him. He didn't do anything to you. He was no danger to you. I speak out against this violence because it needs to be spoken out. I'm tired of even Christian men and others threatening people. Peter cut off the high priest here with a sword, and Jesus said, no. If my kingdom were of this world, my servants would fight, but it's not of this world. Jesus, in so many words, said, Peter, I came to do this. Christians are supposed to not operate on violence. I'm not going to get into the whole dichotomy of self-defense and all that. We're not talking about that right now. We have the greatest power. I'm not going to say at our disposal because you don't dispose of God. We have the greatest arsenal, and it's found in Christ. And he can summon his angels, and he can summon the heavenly forces to surround us and watch over us, because there's a war up there that you and I cannot see. Daniel makes reference to it. Daniel, 21 days ago, I heard your prayer. I would have came, but the prince of Persia withstood me. Prince of Persia? How does somebody in... Oh, the prince. Oh, the prince of the power of the air. Oh, we're talking something bigger than some king. Yeah. The devil has no interest in Nikki, Cardi B, Barack Obama, Bill Clinton, Biden, Trump. Lots of Republicans, lots of Democrats. He already owns them. They're in his hand. They're not saved. They're not children of God. He comes after me. He comes after you, child of God. Ladies and men, if you're in Christ, you have an enemy who hates your guts. Every day, 24/7. But remember what the word says. Greater is he who is in you than he who is in the world. The devil wants to gnash his teeth and make you scared. Don't waste your time arguing with a clown. Father, I need you. I personally am no match for this clown. It's okay to admit you're afraid. We want to pray for Sierra. I don't know her. I don't know all that's happened. I'm trusting she's telling the truth. But we need to pray that God gives her a job. We pray that she would get saved and trust Jesus. And we pray for her because they fired her. And I know what it's like to be fired, and it sucks. And she came into our chat saying, I didn't threaten anybody. I didn't do anything wrong. So I'm going to take her at face value. We pray, God, you provide her a job. We pray that she get away from that crazy boyfriend. We pray that you would help her to have a love relationship with you and not a love relationship with a loser. Narrow is the road to eternal life. Few there be that find it. Broad is the road that leads to destruction. Do you know why there's so many trolls on YouTube? Because they're all lost souls, that's why. And they breed like rabbits. And they think they're funny and they think they're cute. They're mockers and scoffers. And the Bible has a lot to say about mockers and scoffers. People who walk with God don't mock and scoff. They warn. People who are lost souls mock and scoff. They do not know what they speak of. They're ignorant. They're blind. The God of this world is blind in their eyes. The prince of the power of the air is their prince, not mine. That's not my circus, not my monkeys. Boom. I'm a child of God. I'm done with Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey. The clowns are not my friends. And the devil has nothing but clowns. They're the successful ones. They wear the suits and the ties. They make the big money. They got life by the horns. No. There's a hymn that puts the record straight. This is my Father's world. Stick that in your pipe and smoke it, Satan. You're the prince of the power of the air, but this is my Father's world. And when he comes with the scroll, and John wept because nobody was found worthy to open the scroll. Why are you weeping? Because somebody can open it. No, the Lion of the tribe of Judah. He's going to open it. That's the title deed to the world. God's going to take it back and say, you wretched little snake, get out of my presence. He's going to cast him down to earth, and woe to the inhabitants of the earth when he does. You think Satan's cute? You think you're going to party with the devil? Wait till he comes down to earth when he's cast out of the presence of God once and for all. He has access to him. Somebody wrongly said the other day he's been kicked out of heaven. No, he hasn't. Read the book of Job. He will be hurled. God will throw him out. And he knows then that his time is short. I can't wait until the devil's thrown in the fire. Awesome place for him. And a third of the angels. A third. How many angels did God create? I don't know. But a lot. They all went off into rebellion. Why? Why? I don't understand these things. Why does God give women beauty? And they're so vain and so stuck up and conceited. Because they're like the devil. They're following their daddy. Arrogance and pride and looking down your nose at others is a sign that you are of Satan. God gave you those good looks, sweetie lips. Don't be lifted up. Charm is deceitful. Beauty is vain, but a woman who loves the Lord, she shall be praised. And what do we men do? We bow at the trough of the beauty queens. They don't make good marriages. They don't make good wives. They're vain. They're narcissists. They're stuck up. And they'll bleed you financially dry and ruin you. Not all, but most. Because they live off of their own self-importance. And we put them on a pedestal. And that's why they have no manners and why they're rude. And they think they're entitled. Because we put it there and let it have it. Young girls today are groomed. Daddy calls them princesses. Dads, grow up. That's your daughter. So you're my daughter. You're not a princess. Get over the complex. I knew a woman in Spokane. She was Hollywood model gorgeous. Long hair, tall lady, beautiful body. She was driving a school bus. She also did hair and nails. She was a Christian. And I asked her, she said, you want to sit with me at lunch? So we sat in her Suburban on an in service. We had lunch and we broke for lunch for an hour. And I said, why are you so down to earth? Most women that are beautiful like you. And she goes, what is there to be uppity about? My dad was a Baptist preacher and a truck driver, Michael. I said, that's awesome. She goes, I know most women aren't like this. A woman who was beautiful and feared the Lord. Johnny Erickson Tata has a husband. She was paralyzed from the neck on down. She didn't have a husband when that happened. She didn't have a husband for years. And a man, that is love. A man chose to marry and love this woman. She has no feeling from here down. She has to have everything done for her. That woman does more from a wheelchair than people do on two legs for Jesus Christ. She witnesses to the handicapped and the special needs people. She paints pictures with a paintbrush in her mouth. She sings songs. She had a children's ministry. She had a ministry called Johnny and Friends. And we think that the race is to the swift. We think that the race is to the beautiful. That's a demonic lie. Bible says, unless you humble yourself and become as a little child, you shall not enter the kingdom of God. And even the disciples said, get these kids out of here. Jesus said, suffer not the little children to come unto me. Let them come. The gospel's for everybody, folks. It's not for the country club. It's not for that group of people over there that thinks that everybody's racist against them. It's for all of us. There's no Baptist, Lutheran, Catholic section in heaven. There's no black section. Oh, that's the Asian wing down there to the right. You have no idea what heaven is going to be like. The devil's a liar. He divides and conquers. The Democratic Party is exactly like Satan. The media, they lie and twist. Do you notice this book, which has been under attack, doesn't lie and twist? It talks about David sinning with Bathsheba. It talks about Lot offering his daughter to these gay, predatory men that wanted to do things to the angels and said, no, do what you want with my daughters. The Bible admits the mistakes, unvarnished, doesn't hide it. Professionals cover their sins. The Word of God doesn't hide it. I know this book is true. No editing, no varnish. Sincera, without wax. Those of you that listen to me know what that means. I just taught about it. This is real. Professionals don't write stuff like this. They keep all the crappy stuff out. Make it seamless. Liars, clowns, deceivers, all to get money, to win your allegiance. There was a woman in the Old Testament, she was so distraught that she couldn't have children. And she came before one of the, was it Samuel? Somebody. And she was crying so bad. And she was speaking, and whoever heard her thought she was drunk. Get out of here, you drunken. I'm not drunk. My soul's troubled. What is the problem? I'm without child. Go, the Lord will bless you. You know why God chose Mike Nelson? Because I was a loser. Do you know that it says that in there? No, it doesn't say my name. Listen up, you arrogant clowns. Put this in your pipe and smoke it. For consider your calling, brethren, that there were not many wise according to the flesh, not many mighty, not many noble. But God has chosen the foolish things of the world to shame the wise, and God has chosen the weak things of the world to shame the things which are strong, and the base things of the world, and the despised. God has chosen the things that are not, that he might nullify the things that are. I ain't no Bill Gates. I ain't no professional. I ain't no leader. I ain't no Democrat, Republican, congressional leader, a mayor, governor. I have thick glasses. I was stupid when I was a kid. I was dumber than a sheep. But God chose the foolish things. I will glory that I was a foolish thing to inherit salvation. There is no place for arrogance among us. Let the world boast and brag. All it is this. Boast as you descend into the flames, clowns. Boast when you beg for somebody to dip their finger in the water and touch your tongue. And that's just after 60 seconds of being there. And you get to face that for all eternity. Go ahead and brag about that. Tell me one more time about your college degrees and your dress for success and your trophy wives. This world is a joke. The Christians aren't supposed to love it at all. We can love God's creation. We can enjoy God and his creation. We can enjoy the beautiful places. But we're not supposed to love the world system. People that love corporate America and love celeb status, they're of the world. They're of their father, the devil. The devil said, I shall be like the Most High. Look at who's being elevated. Look at who's being pedestalized in our culture today. And ask yourself, is this of the Spirit of God? Is Cardi B walking in the Holy Ghost, singing about her wet vagina? No, she's not. I'm so tired of this argument. This rap music is crap and it's not music. The only kind of music is what God calls music. And most of it today is garbage. We're circling the drain. And America's not getting that kind of preaching in the pulpits by and large. Now it's a touchy-feely, feel-good. You can kick off your sandals. You can come in with your Starbucks. You can cross your legs in your seat. You can dress scantily clad. You can just come as you are and sit in there. The church is a mile wide and an inch deep. For the time will come when men will not endure sound teaching, but instead having itching ears, heap to themselves teachers hearing what they want to hear. Ear ticklers. Rick Warren, Joel Osteen, David Wilkerson, the prayer of Jabez, T.D. Jakes, Creflo Dollar, Benny Hinn, Joyce Myers. Joyce Myers is more of a man than most men are. Scary. She has no business being a pastor. None. That's the devil's lie. Well, Paul was a chauvinist. Excuse me. Paul said all scripture is breathed by inspiration of God. Paul says, I do not permit a woman to teach or have authority over men. Don't get confused when he says I. Don't get confused. Paul spoke what was God's heart. Women were not supposed to be the head of the church. Ever. The overseer, he. The pronoun he is used all the time. He must be the husband of a wife. He must rule his children, and children must be in subject. He must have a good reputation. He must not be a lover of strong drink. He must not be a lover of money. He must not be given into anger. I mean, there's so many he's, it's like laughter. He. Get it straight, shoddy. The word of God is clear. We all have offices. We all have positions that God made for us. I'm not to be a woman, and a woman's not to be a man. And a woman is not supposed to be head over me as a grown man, ever. It's not right. And we let this happen. We got a whole generation of males called simps. Walk your walk, live your life. Stop bowing and chasing them. You're foolish to do that. You're sealing your fate when you do that. You're teaching them when you do that. You get into a marriage, they'll go, I got him. Be a leader and stop following these women. Let them follow you or not at all. Stop serving these arrogant, entitled narcissists. Ignore them. Walk away from them. Don't validate them. Don't tell them they're beautiful. Do not fill their ego. Walk away and ignore them, child of God. Pray for them. Don't give them the satisfaction of a long look. Praise a woman who follows God, not dresses like a tramp. Women complained back in the day that men objectify women. Do you know how many women sign up to be porn stars? Millions. They get paid for it. They love the attention they get. Give me a break. You are part of the problem, women. And porn is destroying us. Women don't want to take a relationship seriously anymore. At my age, you have leftovers just like me. Divorced, been through the washing machine and the spin cycle of a crappy relationship. Then now you have to choose Which one of the people left in the bottom of the dumpster is for me? Mike, did you just say I just did? Because we ain't virgins anymore. We're battle scarred. How do I develop my relationship with God so that it's stronger, deeper than what it is? Sometimes chasing the opposite sex is nothing but a distraction to your walk with God. It will bring you with many griefs and heartaches. Are you sure you want that? Be careful what you ask for. You might just get it and spend 31 years regrette. I married a woman after 5 weeks because I reasoned in my little silly brain, better to marry than to lust. Better to struggle with lust than to marry and regret the marriage. When you have a kid, their kid is now affected by the divorce. Marrying some people, for us, is nothing but wreckage. Imagine busted pieces of airplane all down the side of a mountain. We don't think about that. Ask yourself this, guys. Let's take that one behind me. Pretty hot, right? Most men go, oh, yeah. Doesn't mean she's wife material. Just means she'd be fun to look at naked. That's it. We put a precedence on beauty. When you say I do you picture her in a wheelchair in a coma? When you got to shave her underarms and bathe her and wipe her butt? No, you don't. So I would challenge every man before you get married, when you look at that woman, I want you to picture her as having survived a car wreck, but she can't do anything for herself. She can't have sex with you. Her body's going to go to hell and she becomes a vegetable in a wheelchair. You're going to love her till death do you part. If you can say yes to that, then by all means, get married. We don't. We see that. We see that. What's love got to do with it? What's love but a second-hand emotion? Yeah, Whitney wasn't far off, was she? Did she ever experience real love? She OD'd herself and her daughter did too. Sad. Oh, the deep, deep love of Jesus. Ooh, now we're on to something. This stuff is so temporal. I'm amazed at the power of the penis. Let's talk about it, men. We're all guilty. That little sausage downstairs has more power over us than anything else. You need to self-talk yourselves. Men, you need to face it and say, she's hot. I'm in heat. Good, now you're on to something. Better to go home and rub one out at the thought and then ask yourself, after the orgasm's gone, is she still worth pursuing? What does she have besides the looks? What does she have? And we men call it love when we're in love with a body. We're guilty as charged. We're absolutely guilty. And when you get involved with her and you move her into your hut and you sign I do, then the fun begins. She wakes up, her hair's standing in all directions, you smell bad breath, and she's moody. And suddenly you go, what the hell did I just do? You listen to Dick. You listen to Dick. People say, listen to your heart. Listen to your heart. No. Listen to God. I speak as one having bought the t-shirt. You don't marry somebody in 5 weeks ever. Only if you're an impulsive clown who doesn't think things through, who believes the lies that are told church, better to marry than to burn with passion. But Michael, that's what the scripture says. Yeah. But if you marry thinking that'll solve your lust problem, there's a woman who spoke to me last week. She's married to a husband who made porn with his ex-girlfriend and was looking at it and jacking off to it. She said he cheated on me. Yeah, I could see why she's upset. If you're done with her, what's this? You're done with this ex, what's going on here? Marriage doesn't solve the problem of lust. Paul says it's better to marry than to burn. But if you burn it every time you see all these women, that one woman ain't going to solve the burning that you have. Women need to be honest. It's okay to admit it. I'm not going to be faithful in my mind. I like the beauty and diversity of many women. And even if I was married to that one behind me, somebody walked by with a skimpy top, well, that's interesting too. However, a lot of women in America need to grow up and stop being so buttered and sensitive about everything. Their man's head swivels because somebody got no bra on, and then you get mad and act like a child over it. Wow, you're insecure as all get out. Why don't you put your arm around and say, pretty nice looking, huh? But I got you. There's dysfunction both sides of the street on that issue. Women want this man that never lusts, never. Well, women, what about your sins and your attitudes and attitudes and moodiness and the crap you bring? Do you get rid of that easily? You don't. And men in the pulpit need to start condemning the sins that females do as much as they condemn the sins that we do. Huh. And there's a large silence in the church on that right there. So the churches encourage simp nation and entitled women. Teenagers in church, they can't say excuse me when they walk between two adults talking. Can't smile and say hi. Teenage girls that got 2 inches of tit meat are going to sit there and be rude and stuck up because I'm cute. No, you're a B word. Then that's not okay. And if you're my daughter, I'm going to paddle you on the butt. Lose the attitude. I'm so tired of excuses being made because I'm having my period. Well, I'm having a moment too, but I can't treat people wrong because women say, don't take your bad attitude on us. Exactly, women, don't take your period out on us because I'll turn it into an exclamation point. I'll have compassion when you're not feeling well, but if you're going to be rude to me, I'm going to say, I don't care what you're going through. Knock it off. Don't take it out on the one who loves you. Not okay. It's abuse. Marriage is not always the answer. We grew up in the 80s on this stuff. You take my self-control. I live among the creatures of the night. I haven't got the will to try and fight. Really? Is that what the Bible teaches? You take my self control. I haven't got the will to fight. I live among the creatures of the night. Lord Brannigan, are you Satan's puppet? Sounds like it. We glorified the song. I like the song, and then you realize what they're singing. Oh, the night is my world. City lights, painted girls. In the day, nothing matters. It's the night time that flatters. Do we unpack the lyrics of the music we grew up on? No, because even me as a man were moved by the feeling. What a feeling keeps believing. Music has been the Pied Piper that led us right into sex in the backseat of a car on Friday night. Because it feels good. I love a lot of 80s music, but a lot of it was, well, that little erosion. You know, canyons are beautiful, but when you realize why they became beautiful, it happened because of a force called water cutting through rock. And you see the canyon is beautiful, but you don't want to be in there when that water's running down there in a flood. You got nowhere to go for safety. You're screwed. An affair's beautiful. Look what it does to you. It's fun when that pretty married woman's coming onto you at work and she leans over and you smell the perfume and you see those beautiful. Yeah, it's fun, isn't it? I've never met anybody who said they had an affair and the aftermath was fun. Never. If I want to date, I could get online and hook up discreetly with a married woman right now. If I want to date with a single woman that looks like that, cannot. I'm not worthy enough. Where did the Bible say that a good looking woman is to be treated as a deity? I haven't found the verse yet. Does she have scented poop? No, she doesn't. We need to start analyzing what we listen to. We need to unpack the things that got us to our sinful state and things. We need to ask, why are we so drawn to porn? Well, because women are playing games. You can't get a date. You're not worthy enough. Women have beat us back. They've made us feel like we're no good, when in actuality they're projecting. And their wrong view, the Bible says, do not think of yourselves more highly than you ought. And I'm going to say it by the authority vested in me. I see that with a problem with a lot of petite, slender women. They think of themselves more highly than they ought. They think I'm not worthy for their little 2 inches of meat. Really? Well, guess what, honeys? I lived in Hong Kong, and if I want to play the sin roulette game, I could go to a lot of countries and I'd get a date with some drop dead gorgeous women, even some women that look like that. Not here because of entitled America. Well, guess what? A lot of these women are like buying something at Walmart. It's cool, the price is right, and it breaks. Yep, I said that. And a lot of men are the same. But I don't consider myself among them. I'm better than that. I'd like to believe that. Then maybe that's false too. I've got some scars and tissue damage and brokenness. What have I got to offer a woman? I don't know. I may never know. ELO's got a song called Evil Woman. Who's the guy that has the song? American Woman, get away from me. Why did he sing that? We hear all the songs by women. Who do you think you are? Running around leaving scars, collecting your jar of hearts. Oh, give me a break. Give me a break. You guys collect your jar of hearts too. Friend zoning men. FWB. I was a dumb fool. I got on a date site in Denver. Tell me your favorite pickup and let's go on a date. I put a 66 Ford. Woman wrote me back, oh my gosh, I love that truck. Mine's this. We talked. I met her. Dumb me. I met her at Red Lobster. She was cute. She's in the medical field. And she was, wow, you really are good looking and you look just like your picture and blah, blah, blah. Thanks for dinner. It was awesome. She said, text me. I work, and I texted her. Hours went by. I said, hey, you doing okay? I think I texted twice. I didn't blow up the phone over the space of hours. This isn't going to work out. I got a text. This isn't going to work out. I'm what? We've texted me twice in the space of what, 3 hours? You told me to text you. Good morning. I didn't hear. That's what they do today. And I told people at my workplace, I said, Mike, you're stupid. It isn't about your text. She wanted a free dinner date. You offered to take her to Red Lobster. You should never do that. You should have taken her to Jack in the Box. Because I got jacked. I took a woman out that I had befriended at the rec center. She was Mexican. She was hot. Wow, what a problem. Every day, every Sunday and Saturday, she'd see me. She attracted me to her. She was beautiful. It didn't help that she was in a bathing suit and had nice brown skin and that long Latina hair. Oh, we're sitting in hot water anyway. Hormones are just a raging. And she told me in the steam room, I would love to sit under a shade tree and have you sit between my legs and wrap my arms around you. And I said, oh my gosh. I said, well, let's go out. Told her the restaurant, I'll meet you there. We get there. Let's back up a little bit. Let's tell this story. This is worth telling. She lived on my way to work. She told me, I said, I go right by your street. She goes, really? Knock on my door. Are you sure? I'm coming by at 4 a.m. It's okay, Michael. I want to see you. She told me the address. Parked my truck. Hello? Yeah, this is Michael. So-and-so there. She's asleep right now. I don't know who you are. I hear this deep man's voice and I'm going, ruh-roh. I said, I'm sorry. Tell her Michael came by. She told me to knock on her door. I was on my way to work. Yeah, it's a little early to be knocking on the door, bud. Well, talk to her. She'll tell you. Gotta go. I get in my truck and I'm saying in my breath, WTF. Okay, that was dumb. I saw her at the rec center that next weekend. Oh, I'm so sorry. That's my son. He lives with me and I was so tired. I'm so sorry. Oh, okay. So a week after that, we went on the date. This is a true story. She shows up. She dressed in more of a professional Latina style, kind of the power clothing. I was like, ooh, this is awkward. I said, hey, I'm being my usual self. And she was not being her usual self. And we sit down and she goes, I don't really feel like eating. After I'd paid, it was a buffet. I said, oh, well, yeah, I went to something and we had a lot of food. I said, well, why didn't you just tell me? We could have. No, because I wanted to go out. And she was very curt and snarky. And, Michael, I want to know why you thought you could come by my place at 4 a.m. I said, did you not message me on my phone and tell me, and I told you what time I go to work in the morning to drive a bus? Well, yeah. But why would you come by? I said, you told me. Knock on your door. And then I hear a man's voice. I'm thinking, uh-oh, do you got a boyfriend? She berated me in the restaurant. I'm sitting in there going, WTF? I had the text. Do you want me to show you the text? No, Michael. She made me feel like this big. Picked at her food. I thought, it is time to get out of here. I was polite. She didn't want me to walk in her car. No, I can do it myself. Okay, you have a good evening. I got in my truck, my red Express, my 95 F-150 with a 302, and I punched the radio knob as soon as I turned on the engine. Bum, 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 bum. Fly, Robin, fly. I laughed. I turned it up. I backed it up. Boom! And I took off down Platte River Drive and followed the Platte River from the southwest side of Denver back home to Lakewood. And I felt good hearing Fly, Robin, Fly. Sunday morning, that was Saturday. Sunday morning comes, I'm taking my walk around Crown Hill Lake before church. A text comes in. I want to thank you for dinner. I enjoyed seeing you last night. WTF? What is this? This woman is mental. Enjoyed seeing me. She was nasty. I texted the following. I always like to get out and eat at an all-you-eat buffet. That's it. I didn't enjoy you at all. The food was good. The food was good. Wish you weren't here. Should have sent a postcard. What are you doing today? Not talking to you. I didn't answer. I went to church. I went to the rec center. She wasn't there. That's fine. I didn't want to see her. Another Sunday came and she was there. I didn't speak. I saw her. I thought, nope, I'm not going in the jacuzzi right now. I'll go to the steam room. When she came to the steam room, I went to the sauna. When she came to the sauna, I went to the pool. I don't got no time for all that. What is wrong with women in America that play these dumb games? Mean what you say what you mean, and don't play with my heart. And it's always the beautiful ones that do that crap. One went on a date with me, not bad looking. I picked her up in Old Denver, took her to a good Vietnamese restaurant. She goes, nice choice of restaurant, Michael. I thought you'd like it. And then while we're eating, she says, well, I wouldn't date you. I said, oh, really? Well, you said in your profile you're not a big Christmas guy and you don't like people using drugs. I smoke 420. So why did you go out with me? Because you're handsome and you seem nice. Another one that wanted free food. Then she told me about the guy that posed, Had a picture 20 years ago. Showed up at the restaurant. He was 400 pounds. We went out. We did get through that. I took her home. Months went by. Months. I got out of my school bus, clocked out, walking to my truck. I get a text. Hey, it's me. I'm like, who's this? Because when I go through a date, that sucked. Delete number, delete contact. I called. Oh, that's the one I dated. Long time ago. Yeah, I just wanted to reach out to you. You took me to lunch. I wanted to repay. I said, you don't owe me nothing. I almost said, it's been months. I forgot about you, girl. I can take a hint. I don't even need to be told. It's body language. Body language tells me this is over. It's over. It's over. And what can I do? Fly, Robin, fly up into the sky. You see, God, in the midst of that, even showed me, Michael, I love you. Quit chasing that Hispanic chicken. Quit chasing that white chicken. I love you. Fly out of there, Michael. These women are snakes. Crazy ladies that wait and slide around like a snake. I just can't take anymore. I'm headed into the door, into the city. Night in the City by ELO. I liked it in middle school, and I never realized it was prophetic. We put beauty on a pedestal at our own peril. Look at Potiphar's wife. What a beast of a woman. You know she was hot. Joseph was a Hebrew. He was muscular. He worked hard. Come lie with me. Ooh. You want to talk about a man? Joseph said, I cannot do this. Potiphar's put me second in command to him over his whole household. I cannot do this. She kept doing it. Joseph did the right thing. But then she grabbed him, an article of clothing, and it slid off of his arms and shoulders. And she grabbed it. I got him. Husband, while you were gone, this Hebrew made sport of me. He tried to lie up in my bed. What a liar. Joseph was falsely accused. He was a man of integrity more than me. And he was accused by a lying snake. Thrown in jail. I would have been whining in there. I would have said, man, God, this isn't fair. Guess what? God sent him to jail. The cupbearer and the baker for a king were thrown in there. And they had dreams and they were disturbed. And they knew Joseph. The jailer trusted Joseph. I'm sure that Potiphar eventually knew. He had to know. He had to know what his wife was all about. But leaders being who they are, he didn't want to come back and deal with it. God allowed things to happen to Joseph to lead him to Pharaoh. And guess what? Joseph was used to save the Jewish people. And 400 years after that, God would show up again and lead them out from under a different Pharaoh and the oppression that they had been involved with as slaves and lead them into the promised land. And it's hard. We go through something. You're fired unjustly, this, and you get mad. What was going through Joseph's mind? Was he angry? Did he sit there and go, wow, God, this is so wrong? I don't know. We don't have the written account of what was going through his brain. But whatever he did, he shined in the prison. The jailer trusted him. I'm sure that jailer thought, this guy didn't sleep. That guy's wife was a whore. Your character, your body language, in spite of accusations, other people see this guy didn't do this stuff. No, this guy's been framed. But God allowed it to happen to maneuver him. Why do I speak? Why do I put myself out here? I'll tell you why. It took all that crap I went through to get bold. Because I was a scared little sissy boy. I was scared of my mother. I was raised by a domineering, abusive mother who was immature at best and a passive dad. I didn't have a relationship with my mother and dad. I couldn't go to my dad and talk to him about nothing. My dad was overweight. He drank beer, smoked cigarettes, watched football. He wasn't a deep man. My dad was a 180-degree opposite of me. No energy, low energy, bad physique. The one that adopted me, he did not have anything in common with me. The only thing I had in common with my mother is I had a love for antiques. That's it. And I caught her OCD about keeping things clean. That's it. My mother had more influence on me, and she was the worst of the two. Maybe that's why I have a feminine side. I grew up with 3 sisters, and my mother's natural daughter was rude to me growing up. She would do things. She teased me and my sister. She tickled me so hard, I banged my head on one of those old Coca-Cola crates or fruit crates they had in California. There was a bookshelf in my room, had a metal edge. I cut my head, and then she got scared. I'm going to tell. No, don't tell Mom. And I said, give me a drink of water, please. She went and filled a cup of Listerine. My sister was mean. She was cruel. I said, man, I'm going to tell on you now. My cousin told me stories about how she intimidated him when she had to watch him. My sister was nasty. My sister used to make me wear girls' clothes and put makeup on me and take pictures of it. Maybe that's why I do it. I don't know. Maybe because deep down inside, yeah, there's times I felt like maybe I could just be a male whore. That's all I seem to be worth. Pretty girl doesn't want me. Society doesn't want me. I'll never move up. I'll never make 100,000 a year. I'll never be a CEO or CSO or the boss or president. I'll never be anything. Yeah, I realize that. And just because a woman's born with looks, she thinks she's got a right to the throne of God. Just like Satan. I shall be like the Most High. Look at any pretty woman. They got an arrogance and a smugness and an immaturity all balled up into one. You know why? Because society favors that. Look at the evening news. Who cares about Brad Pitt, Angelina Jolie? Who cares about these people? I don't. They do nothing for me. They've done nothing to help me pay my bills or make my life easier. And we put them on a damn pedestal. LeBron, oh, he can play basketball. Big heady, sweaty, greasy guy. He does nothing for me. And you know, our society, the world system really is against God. It's high school. It's high school. You know, that same stuck-up girl got the class president every time. Same one. Same thing with Hollywood. Same thing with the liberals. It's a little girl boys club, the little clique. Nothing changes. Most grown women today have stopped emotional development at middle school and stayed there. Don't believe me? Go out and check for yourself. It's all around us. I admit that I often look at myself and step outside myself and say, you know what? It bothers me how I myself can be so blindsided by a woman's beauty. The attraction that we men have towards a beautiful woman is blinding. It is a form of DUI. It is a form of being under the influence. And be careful, men. It is a drug. Kittens are cute. Puppies are cute. Look what they do to the furniture. Always remember that. And I have to say this because you got some woman out there that's always going to come back. Not all of us are like that. I didn't say all of you are. I just said most. But I am going to say this. A petite, slender, pretty woman will play games with me. She'll want my attention. She'll lead me on, and then she'll go like a herd of gazelle. Why do they do that? I don't know why they do that. They get some satisfaction out of it. I don't know. People say it's not how you say, it's what you say. Well, phooey on that. I'm going to be who I am. I don't understand this mentality of women that they want to be queen over us and we have to submit and bow and pay homage to that. If I'm the head of my house, let me be the head of the house and let God work on me and stop trying to redress me, style my hair, stop all that. You want a man or you want a mouse? Tell me by the way you treat us. Then, that Mexican woman, before we went on a date, hey, Fluffy, shut up. I see your comments flashing up. Shut up. You have no weight with me. I will put you on hide when I'm done. And you can comment, but none of them will see them, not even me. Bye. It's called my channel. I'll cry if I want to. You can't deny my experiences, sport. You get onto dangerous ground doing that. So show me you're a scholar one more time. Put another dumb comment in there for me to see. Come on. I know you're listening because you can't comment here, so you go on a short or something. Go bet. Anybody with the name Fluffy is something to avoid. That's a cute little name for a little Shih Tzu dog or something, but come on now. You want attention? I'll give it to you. I like women. I think I'm done for marriage. I think it's pretty obvious. If I want to be married, I'm going to have to go overseas. And it's not going to happen. I'd have to earn enough money where I could live overseas, and I would be able to find somebody. There's women in Poland or other countries that we probably could have a relative amount of peace and a good relationship. There's something toxic that happens to us over here. And I saw it. I saw it when I lived overseas. Women are very entitled and conceited over here. And even the ones that are Christians, you got to be very careful today. A marriage will bring you to your knees. It'll strip a man of his dignity. And I know women have been through stuff. I've already talked about stupid men. I blasted them yesterday. And I give any woman, if she shows any amount of interest, I give her a chance and I get my hopes up. Man, she's pretty. She seems nice. Poof, gone. poof, gone. I picture the sound of Jeannie. Boom, she's there, and boom, she's gone. Barbara Eden was hot. I'd love to have a Jeannie. When she gets on my nerves, I can go boom, and she disappears. I dream of Jeannie with the light green hair and the tackle box faces thrown in free. If I need a fishing lure, I can pick it out of her nose. And God knows what under her arm grows. Ah, welcome to 2026. Truth is stranger than fiction. Ta-ta, everybody. It's Monday Fun Day. I get to go to work and have fun. Yep. Dun, 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 dun. Just getting up as a child of God, going out in the world. I don't have to look for trouble. I hear skid marks. I hear, and it does a Brody right in front of me and stops right in front of me. Hi, Michael. I'm here. Morning, trouble. You left me alone for the weekend, and now you're going to show up at work. Uh-huh. There's trouble on my way. I have to cry sometimes. There's trouble on my way. I have to cry sometimes. Jesus, he will fix it. Jesus, he will fix it. Jesus, he will fix it after a while. I love that song. I sing it because I got to remind myself, he'll fix it after a while. Just like the old black spiritual. It may be Friday, but Sunday's coming. All this clown show going on around us is quite entertaining, isn't it? If you can step outside and laugh. And that Hispanic woman had a conversation with me talking about coyotes. Like coyotes? I grew up with coyotes out west. No, she was talking about coyotes. And then it dawned on me. She was an illegal. I almost fell in love with an illegal. Whoopsie. Good thing that didn't work out. That would have been a conflict of interest. Yeah, she said something about a coyote brought her over. I said, a coyote brought you? Those are the guys that run back and forth across the border. And I ride like the wind. Make it to the border of Mexico till I ride like the wind. Fly, Robin, fly. God is love, and he has a sense of humor. And when I put that song on, I said, God, you are Lord. You put that song on just for me. I hadn't even heard that in years. And I'm like, oh, this was no accident. You see, when you're a child of God, God can speak to you through a song, a waterfall, a sunset, the sound of the wind blowing over the vent in the bathroom at my mansion apartment on the top third floor of a historic mansion in Duluth. God can speak to me when I looked out the window and see the blinking light of the lighthouse. And I hear Dvorak in the background. Da, 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 da. Mm-hmm. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Dvorak is beautiful. New World Symphony, one of the best pieces. Makes me think of a sunset on a beautiful sea. It also makes me think of a full force fury of a gale on the Atlantic. And I realize that God in his own way still. Michael, I love you. We chase everything but the one who loves us, don't we? We chase cars and bank accounts and college degrees and status and likes and hearts and lust and sex and booze and pot and eating disorders and narcissism and TikTok. And we chase it all. We chase our phones. Got to swipe, got to look. The eye never has enough of seeing. The ear never has enough of hearing. And it dawns on me, most women don't want a godly man. Most men don't want a godly woman. Most men want to get laid. Most women want a man that serves them, but they don't have to serve him. Yeah, it's a stupid, stupid world. God kind of puts things in perspective, doesn't he? It's a great, big, stupid world. Randy Stonehill sang that in the 80s. Prophecy, buddy. Gotta go eat. Got to go to the lion's den called work. Hungry, hungry hippos. Yeah, I liked the 80s and 70s. We had cool toys, cool music, cool hairstyles. I'm stuck there. I look at what's going on today, it's a joke. In the 80s, I could get a date with a pretty petite lady and have a nice time. We go to the dance and go to a movie and see a movie. And what happened to those days? What happened to people? History is his story. Did you know that this world is marching towards Armageddon? This whole world is marching towards an end. Don't listen to the Democrats. This world isn't going to be destroyed by global warming. It's going to be destroyed by man's own sin and rebellion against the Holy One. And God will bring judgment for 7 years on the earth. The wrath of God. People don't like to talk about that. It's coming. I close with this. Coming again. Coming again. Maybe morning, maybe noon, maybe evening, or sometime soon. Coming again. Oh, what a glorious day it will be. If I stop getting a frog in my throat. Jesus is coming again. See you later, folks. Here, there, or in the air. Remember when we used to say that? Let's bring it back. Let's bring it on back. Because I say it looks an awful lot like instead of the next song on the radio or YouTube, be careful. You may hear a trumpet. Bye, Felicia, Earth, world, celebs, media, my garbage. I'm out of here. He who has this hope and him purifies himself, looking for the blessed hope of the return of Christ, should be our motive.